Yes, we're back, people. Good morning, or good evening, or afternoon, wherever you're listening around the world. I've got another Guna to Guna. 12th man is back, and one of my favorite people, man. Big up to Turkish in the house. Everybody wants you back on, man. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, man. How are you, bro?
Love my bro. Come on, man. Family. So it makes sense, man. Well, it's been a few times now over the last couple of months. Obviously, that's down to me, schedule and whatnot. But when I can make it happen, I make it happen, man. You've been doing big things on this channel. So well done, man. Putting in the work.
Come on, man. No, I appreciate it. And likewise with you, man. You're everywhere. Big Six again last night. Unbelievable show. For me, the best on YouTube. Love those guys, man. What you do over there is superb. And you deserve all the plaudits, man, because it's flying. And good for you. I wish our football team was flying, bro. That's what I wish. But unfortunately, it's another one of those seasons, it seems, bro. So we're going to get into that. Before we do that, people, make sure you're following Turkish. Turkish's channel was literally in the title. All we've got to do is click. Well over 100K now. So big up to him for that. Make sure you're following the Big Six as well. Make sure you like to this one and subscribed as well. We're on the way to 4-0 now, the next target. So the big 4-0 is coming next, people. And you guys have been mad. It only feels like yesterday we hit 30. So we're on the way to 40 already. So you guys have been mad. Make sure you're following Reality Raffles. They're our sponsors for today. Make sure that you go and show them some love on their Instagram page and on their website. They've got opportunities to get you to football tickets as well, football stadiums of your choice as well, not just Arsenal. So please make sure you go over to them as get into the raffle draws there and concerts and gigs, etc. So please make sure you show them some love because they've been really good to us as well. Watch it, like and subscribe. Turkish and I can chat, and I'm looking forward to this one, man, because it's been some time since you and I have had a one-on-one. We've spoken quite a bit in a group and at AFTV and whatnot, but I've always felt like you and I are on a similar kind of wavelength, and I do feel like now I've had a lot of people that are starting to come up to me, and whenever they mention me, they mention you. And Curtis, to be fair.
Yeah. That's the three. Yeah,
they're the three, and it's like you, Curtis, and Turkish were right, and it's like, look, this ain't about being right or wrong. I wanted us three to be wrong. I wanted the Cronkies after the Declan Rice signing to go, yeah, I've got to show you what you want. I wanted the Cronkies to believe that these next two transfer windows were going to be the two that took us across the line, and unfortunately, we've been let down in that respect. We've been let down at a board level. And I have to say, I feel like we've been let down by Mikel, bro. I feel like we're kind of now going into these press conferences and they're becoming quite cringy. He's rattled. He's losing his head. He's lying. So that's where I want to start. Like, trust me, we'll come to the board and the ownership because obviously the Berta news has been kind of half announced now anyway. But I want to start with Mikel this season because I look back and I think as much as we can blame stuff that goes on outside the pitch, there's been enough on it for him to put right. And I feel like he's failed this season at pretty much every hurdle, whether it be a style, whether it be a change of style, whether it be not changing it up when needed to, whether it be like for like substitutions, whether it be lack of formation or player change. I feel like he's made mistakes by not really giving the likes of maybe Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan more chances earlier on in the season, particularly when Martin Odegaard was injured. And there's definitely been this kind of PTSD thing from him, in my opinion, bro, where he's 22, 23, we were scintillating to watch. Last season, back end of it, we were scintillating at times, blowing teams away. This season, it's just been all a bit too careful and a bit too safe. And I feel like the rigid and lack of fluidity that we've seen in the team has cost us for sure. So what do you make of Mikel overall this season? I know the season's not done. I know we've got Champions League and there's some players back. We're going to mention that. But just as a kind of overall thoughts on him as the manager and what you've been impressed with and what you haven't been impressed with so far this season with Mikel Arteta, bro.
What I've been impressed with, I think it's a mad one because the thing I've been impressed with is how through some adversity throughout the season, he's still managed to keep us pretty consistent in terms of collecting points, not collecting wins, but collecting points. Hella draws in there, but that's led us to second. But that praise comes off the back of my belief that he's partly put us in the position of adversity. So how much praise can I give for fighting that adversity when you are a core reason for that adversity too? Because I think that you fucked up the window. And regardless of, obviously, I always look at the Cronkies and say they need to do more, and I'll always stand by that. But what you did have in the summer was some money to spend, player sales involved as well, and we chose to buy another defender in Marino. And I think that was what I look back at and think All right, two good players. They help the squad, but it's not what we needed in the year of transition from second to potentially, hopefully, champions. So I look back at that and think, well, that's where the adversity really kicked in. We went into the season light. Odegaard gets injured, and we fight through difficult away games. We beat Tottenham away. We was it? Did we beat City or draw to City? Draw to City. Sorry. Um. So we got results, in a sticky period. But again, the sticky period was partly down to why didn't we have an adequate backup for Odegaard? If we did,
Yeah,
then maybe that period wouldn't have been as sticky or adverse as it was. So even the praise I give this season is kind of in the shadows of the criticism, because there is criticism for Mikel. That as much as I always talk about the ownership, that doesn't mean that I don't think anyone else is a problem, and that goes for Mikel too, as well as everyone in between. Um, we'll probably talk about the sporting director stuff later, which I find interesting. But
mm,
yeah, I think look, Arteta's even come out the other day and said something about the owners want to win. So he's doing everything to paint them in the light that I guess they want to be painted in. Who's painting you, brother?
mm,
Nobody.
mm.
Results, and these press conferences paint you. There ain't no one else coming in to paint you in a different light, or put you onto a certain pedestal. So like Wenger, he's going to take the brunt of the criticism, and I can't lie to you. There is a hell of a lot of criticism this season outside of the injuries, playing style, for example, how rigid we are, how much or how little creativity and mobility we got in midfield. And by mobility, I know Bryce and Odegaard, they're essentially box to box. They run all over the gaff. They work hard. By mobility, I mean a bit of Ethan Nwaneri in the midfield,
Mm-hmm.
a bit of a drop of the shoulder and agility, a bit of zippiness. We don't have that. Odegaard might do that in moments, but generally he's a safe player, and I don't think a safe player suits 10. So I think he's an 8. So I think when you look at the squad building as well, yeah, it's led us down to where we are now, and that's on Mikel. The attack, all right, out of Mikel's hands. Unfortunate, but the midfield is there, brother. The defense is there, brother. And I need to see something different. And against United, I saw the same as I did against Leicester, against West Ham, against Nottingham Forest. And I'm just mentioning recent game. We can mention games from the
Mm.
first half of the season when everyone was fit. So
Yeah.
it's not tied into the attack being completely torn apart by injuries. Our problems started before the injuries. The problems essentially are midfield problems that have bled into attack. So when you're not like when you're a team, I don't mind being a team that's boring. If you win stuff, I don't mind that. Yeah, I don't mind being a team that's rigid. But if you set up a team that is rigid like we have, then we need a killer up front, because there's going to be games you don't create enough chances, so you need that killer up front. If you open up a little bit and you take the handbrake off, then you don't necessarily need a killer up front, because like we saw 2 years ago, 15 goals from the right, 15 goals from the left, 12
Mm.
goals from the middle, 10 from number 10, because you've opened up a little. There's space to work into. There's more players getting into the box because it's a quicker transition. So you don't necessarily need a killer then. So what he's done over the last 2 years is make us safer, more rigid, more difficult to beat. But he hasn't given us the tool up top, which is a killer, that if there's a game where we dominate, we control, but we only get 3 shots on target, we still win it 1-0. So yeah, you mentioned Arteta first, and I think there's a lot that he has to look at himself about this season, and he's no longer that young manager that's on the apprentice contract. He's one of the highest paid managers in Europe now, and this season was a failure, regardless of the injuries. It was a failure because we should still have an FA Cup tie to look forward to end of this month. We should probably be in a Carabao Cup final, considering we was in the semis, but we're not. So we don't even have that to look forward to. And in the Champions League, I look forward to Madrid, but I look forward to it knowing that you know our watch is coming to an end real soon. I'll put it like that. So I look forward to Madrid. It's Champions League. I'm not confident about it. I need to see something different, and that's why Man United game. That's why this next PSV game, the Chelsea game, Fulham, Everton. I need to see something different. I need to see someone else up front. Arteta needs to figure out a new threat, a new facet to our attack before we get to Madrid. Because if we get to Madrid with Marino being striker, or we're still testing the waters with like Martinelli, Trossard, and Ethan, it's not good enough. So against PSV coming up, which we'll talk about, I want to see something different. I need to see something different. I think he needs to see something different. So yeah, he's got a few games not to save his season, because the season can't be saved. We ain't winning nothing, so there ain't no saving this season. But give us an insight into the next step, because this step wasn't the one. So give us an insight into the next step, and hopefully that insight is not becoming even more rigid than we have been, but opening up a little bit. Hopefully, because we ain't got nothing to play for, bro, in the league. So you might as well test the waters and figure out a way that Saka comes back into a team, Havertz comes back into a team, and the summer signings come into a team that are fresh, that have new ideas, that are creating chances for these new players or players returning from injury. He needs to find that, not do the same shit over and over again until we reach Madrid, inevitably go out with our tails between our legs. Like let's get to that one and fight, because even we've had 10 draws this season. How many of those draws in the last 10 minutes were we really fighting for the win? And by fighting, I mean wave after wave of pressure, not dilly-dallying around the box. Wave after, I don't remember many, maybe 2 of the 10 draws. And if you're a great team going for titles, anytime you're drawing against lesser opposition, and when you're a great team going for titles, lesser opposition is 18 times out of 19 or 17 out of 19 games. Fight. We haven't even seen that. It's way too methodical. Even at times of need, when you need to just release and use some emotion, it's still very tick, 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 tick. Fuck the ticking. Take the batteries out and just smash it. And sometimes you need to just show something different. And that's a plan B as well. A plan B doesn't necessarily mean, I need 5 players off the bench to change it all up. Yes, that's great. And that's ideally a plan B. A plan B can also be like, yo, start passing the ball quicker. 2 8s or 2 10s in front of a 6. You get wingers, get closer to the fullbacks, transition to like there's things you can do tactically to help, change things up. Plan B. But he doesn't do any of it. It's like we just tick, tick, tick till the end of the game, and then tick, tick, tick on to the next one, and then tick, tick, tick on. I need to see something different, bro.
Facts. Absolute facts, bro. And I need to as well. And I'm not got confidence that we're going to see much difference with this manager, because he's a like for like guy, and he's got plan A. He tries to make plan A better. There is no plan B for him. It's weird, man. Big up to Hooks for the raid, man. Absolute love. I hope you're well, man. Make sure you're following Halftime Hooks. Big up to him. Also going to chuck in this super chat from Cal. Says, 2 realists with actual standards and love for Arsenal Football Club having a chat. Big ups. Big up to you, Cal. Really appreciate it, man. Got to have a couple of super chats. We're doing a bit. Bro, I kind of agree with everything you've said. And a lot of people keep saying to me, what do you expect him to do? Bro, we're not depleted. We've got 2 players out. Not depleted here.
Yeah.
Like Havertz and Saka's out. Cool. Jesus has hardly kicked a ball for the last 2-3 years. Tomiyasu likewise. They're the only 4 injuries we've got right now. Saka's coming back soon. Martinelli's now back in the mix and was brought on. So you've got options up top again now. So don't tell me that we have to be putting Marino up top again, because it clearly isn't working. Yeah. Don't go and put Calafiori up there, or don't put like a new guy. Let's just use the 3 we've got, if you believe they're the 3 you've got, whether it be Martinelli, Trossard and Ethan. If you want to try that, cool. Put Martinelli through the middle, because Trossard through the middle isn't working. Yeah, try something a little bit different. Put Ethan through the middle if you feel that's the way forward. If you don't want to go with that, then change the formation up. This is what I keep saying. How many defenders have we got on the bench, bro? How many defenders have we had on the bench for God knows how long? Yeah, we've had 7 or 8 defenders on the bench at times. So go play and start 3 at the back. If you want to play Calafiori in the middle, or Ben White now he's back. Kieran Tierney can be one of the wing backs if you don't want to be playing Zinchenko there. Yeah, you've got options up top there more, because you can then play 2 of them behind Odegaard if that's the guy that you still want to be playing, which we'll come to in a minute. Play Ethan and Martinelli together. And that was the thing that frustrated me even more against United, bruv, was that it was like, oh, well, Martinelli's ready. We'll have to take off Ethan. Why? And I'm not saying he should have taken off Trossard, but I'm saying that, like, instead, I'm saying he should have been playing both of them or trying something differently. It's 0-0 against the worst Manchester United side I've ever seen. And you're trying to make changes at a draw to kind of like for like, and hopefully one day, like you say, it will just keep ticking over and we'll get there. I need to see more of a risk taking from him. I need to see more change. I need to see more ideas, more creativeness. And I don't see enough of that from Mikel
Mhm.
Arteta, I'm afraid. And, I do get a lot of stick about it because I've never believed, not just in the process, I've just never believed in Mikel. I've never believed that you can just pluck out of the air a manager and go, there we go, start your apprenticeship here. Let's build your CV. I didn't want to be doing that. Yeah. There people said to me when Wenger went, who did you want? I wanted Carlo Ancelotti or Diego Simeone. And I think at the time I would have had Allegri, who'd just leaving Juventus. That was the sort of manager that we needed to get across the line. I think I even might have put Antonio Conte in there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because all of those guys had winning CVs. And this is what I think we now need, which we'll come on to in a bit about the sporting director. But I wanted to touch on this game in the Champions League because you say you want to see something different. I don't think we're going to get that, particularly in this game where, let's be real, we're pretty much through anyway.
But
But
that's fine.
like you, I want to see a little bit of difference because 7-1 up.
Exactly.
Go and do
Exactly.
what you want. Go and experiment and get ourselves ready for the next leg of this, man, because that's where we're at. Super Chat comes in here for Guna John, who says neither of the Madrid teams will be easy, but Real Madrid slightly more suited to Arteta ball as opposed to Atleti's low block, which we struggle versus. We've also got Guna John, who says unlikely, but what about Martinelli up front? There's definitely options for him, and I want to see those utilised. Antoine says, "Big up to you two legends. If somehow Arteta gets binned, would you rather have Simeone or Inzaghi at your club? Never walk alone." I'd take either of them. Right now, Simone Inzaghi, I think, would probably actually suit Arsenal with what we've got. But Diego Simeone's CV is very impressive, and
Mm,
alongside Berta coming in would probably be my option right now, to be fair.
mm.
Shu says, come on, you've been here long enough to know that we need to be higher on likes. Try something different. Take the handbrake off. Let them free. Big up to you, bro. I appreciate that. And yeah, make sure you hit the likes, people. Make sure you hit the likes. Let's move on to this game and then look towards Real Madrid. We might as well stick to Champions League, and then I might have another
Yeah.
couple of league questions for you afterwards. Kyle, big up to him. He's got a good question in relation to, is this Arsenal side better than the Chelsea side that won the Champions League?
Yes.
The reason, yeah, look, I
It
mean,
sounds fucked to say, but when I said I've seen worse teams win it, because people keep on asking me every time we win a game in the Champions League,
yeah,
can we do it? I've seen worse teams win it, and that Chelsea side is not as good a team as us, in my opinion. But it sounds laughable because they won the Champions League, and I get that. That's all that matters in when you look back historically. But when you look at the team overall, defensively, obviously they had the Rudiger, James, Aspilicueta. They had top defenders, Mendy in goal. I'd say our defense is, as a unit, is better.
yeah.
Midfield, they had Kante, who's, to be honest, head and shoulders above everyone we've got. So they've got the best midfielder. But then it's Jorginho and it was Mount, you know. And I know Mount was a different player then, but it's not like a midfield that you look at and think, oh fuck, they're much better. Nah, because we got Rice. I'd say if you're gonna rank them, it'd probably be Kante, Rice, Partey, Jorginho, or Jorginho, Partey, Odegaard over Mount. Probably. But then now you can't even say that now with Odegaard. He's playing like Mount, an injured Mount at that. So it's crazy. But I think when you look, and then you Mount Werner and not Mount Werner, Havertz, and
Havertz, yeah. Don't
someone
even
else
know.
up front anyway.
Yeah.
So we are. So that's that's the argument I use to the people that will argue that we're not there yet or we're not ready yet. Sometimes, a lot of the time, I look back at teams. I don't think Fergie won like what 13 league titles. I think like 3 of those league titles came when they wasn't ready.
I agree.
They came when it was in transition. But guess what? Opportunity. Guess what? Top managers, top players, they see an opportunity, they go for the kill. Many a time teams have won it not expecting to win it. They just see an opportunity and go for it. That's why it's all good and well excusing that, the hiccups along the way over the last, let's say, 2 years, the expectant years. But you've got to start getting closer, and getting knocked at the FA Cup like we did this year. Like, embarrassing. Again, embarrassing. 5 years in a row now, embarrassing in the FA Cup.
No,
And
we
that's
won
our
2
cup.
games since he's won it, Turkish. One of them's against Oxford. That's a
Yeah, yeah,
shambles.
yeah. I read that. I think fourth and fifth round every year in the last 5 years, I think. So
That's what I
yeah.
mean. The cup record's a shambles as far as I'm concerned for Mikel Arteta. And people will say he's a young manager, but I ain't buying that anymore, man. He's not a novice anymore. He's learned his trade under Pep Guardiola. You can't get a better kind of mentor than that. Then you've come into a club the size of Arsenal and been given everything. There's no luckier manager in world football, in my opinion, to be given the club the size of this for your first job and then be given 5 years in patience and money. Then when you look at Arne Slot, who looks like he's going to waltz past 2 trophies at least this season in his first year at the Premier League at Liverpool, he's managed 2 years for longer than Arteta, right? This guy
Yeah.
has been a manager for 7 seasons, and Mikel Arteta has been one for 5. Well, actually, I think it might be 8 and 6 now. But either way, they ain't far off each other, right? And this guy learned his trade as a manager in the Dutch league before, and to be fair, should have won it in the COVID year with AZ, which was why he then got the final job and won it with them. Then he's obviously gone over to Liverpool and he's winning everything there. So I don't understand how people can sit there and say, yeah, but this was a club that he waltzed into and Klopp left him in a better place. And what phase is he in? It's nowhere near what Arteta had to pick up. I don't care. I don't care about all these excuses anymore, man. This was our year to win the Premier League and we failed as a collect and he's failed as a manager. And you're right in saying about the cup competitions because the mentality situation, and I'll come back to that question that Kyle just asked. Was our team better than Chelsea's? Probably, but mentally, they were stronger than us because they had players in their team that could win. They had a mentality that got them across the line against the Pep Guardiola side. We can't even beat Newcastle and Manchester United. We haven't been able to take points off of West Ham. They've done double over us at the Emirates in 2 years. We can't beat Fulham at the moment. When's the last time we managed to get 3 points against them? So I'm not interested in what other clubs have done. Look what Klopp did at Liverpool. Look at when Chelsea won the league. Look at when Liverpool won it in 2005 and when Chelsea won it in 2012 and when Jose won it with Porto. They weren't the best sides in Europe. We'll make sure we're one of it this season then because I don't have the confidence we're going to be able to get through Madrid, let alone win the whole competition. So this is the problem I've got and these are the question marks. And I said it yesterday, the weekend with Laurie. How can Liverpool win the Premier League before they've won the Carabao Cup, bro? How? That's the cup you win to then go and give you momentum and mentality to go and win again in May, right? And they're going to win the league before they've even got to the bloody final, which I think they're going to beat Newcastle with. So this is where I'm at right now, Turkish. I'm sorry, man. I can't have much sympathy for Mikel in this. And as much as go on.
You know what's frustrating because you mentioned it before, just before I forget. It's early. I just had my tea. When people use that whole metric in general, not just for manager, but it could be time, it could whatever. Look what Mikel picked up. You know, people have been using that a lot when we talk about Slot. And let me tell people what I agree with first. Maybe the positive side. Maybe look at it. Slot did pick up a team with world-class players. Slot did pick up a team with players that have gone over the line across the park, and quality additions made, you know, sporadically in the last 2-3 years. Maybe a McAllister, a Gravenberch who he turned around, and Konate and so on. So he walked into very different settings to what Mikel walked into in 2019, right? But why do we always use 2019? Because if I say, what did Mikel walk into summer 2023 when he returned from his summer holiday? He walked into a team that just challenged for a league title. What did Mikel walk into in 2024 after his summer holiday? He walked into a team that had just challenged for a title.
Points, man.
So people like to use the right amount of years and, you know, to justify anything. Like, even when people say, look where we was 5 years ago, 8th, now we're 2nd, be happy. All right, look where we was 2 years ago, 2nd. Should I be happy? Or look where we was 20 years ago, 1st. Should I be? So we can all use different years. Reality is recent history is what you work off, and 2 years is recent history. It's no longer that what did Arteta pick up anymore. I'm tired of hearing that now because it is true, but miss me with that shit. We know what he picked up, but the reality is every summer for the last 2-3 summers, he's been picking up a team that have challenged for a league title. So let's just say these owners were mad, like the Bowleys, let's say. And let's just say after 22-23, they looked at it and said, yo, this guy fucked up, man. We was top for 200 days and they sacked him. Yeah, let's say they sacked Arteta and we just challenged for a league title. Let's say Inzaghi came in, in the summer of 2023. The expectation for Inzaghi from me and the majority should be that we've just challenged for a league title, win the league in the next 2 years max. This year challenge or try win it. First year, I'll give you a bly, but 2 years bring us the title because you're picking up the side as a title challenger. But when we talk about Mikel, we don't talk about how he's picked up the side every summer. We talk about how he picked up the side initially. But that's history now. That's 7 years ago now. We're very different to that side now. If we keep on using that, we might as well just kept Wenger and kept on saying, look what we was then, look what we was, and just kept it rolling. Like, it's not, recent history is the history, and recent history now tells me that we challenged for a league title up until game week 38, and we fucked up the next season. That's the recent history now. It's no longer we challenge back-to-back league titles, because 22-23 now, it's out of there. That's 3 years ago now. I don't want to talk about that now. Very long time ago, Jesus came in and Zinchenko, and we saw the inverted. It was very different, but we've moved on now. So what is it now? What's the next step from where we are? Not the next step from where we was 7 years ago. So people, use the stuff against Slot or for Mikel. Doesn't make sense. What Slot's done is eye-opening, refreshing in terms of the big context of the argument that everyone needs to trust a process that might need 5 phases, because that's really, Arsenal's trajectory. Other teams were looking like a Chelsea, United, and thinking, oh, maybe we do have to stop this chopping and changing and bringing them. And Slot comes in and shakes it up. Look, Wenger came in and won his league in his first full season. Conte came first full season. I think Ancelotti first season. Jose first full season. Yep. All of these men in their first season. So it's not something that's been, oh my God, Slot's doing something that it's been done before. But because the mind state we got ourselves in processes and all of that, it's like, what? This guy's come in and, as Lee says, what phase is he on? I have to laugh every time Lee says what phase is this person on, that person on, what phase is the cat on, because, bro, I thought the phase thing was a joke. Mikel's come out and talked about we're between phase 4 and 5. I thought this was a joke.
Bro,
I don't know.
You're hearing me, bro. I was the same. I couldn't believe it.
I didn't know this shit was real, but he said we're between phase 4 and 5 now. Yeah. We're there basically. I thought we was going to phase 6. Yeah, but
how many phases are there? No one can answer.
4.87 right now, so we should be phase 5.
You know what I mean? Right? Like what phase does it end? Do we got phase 47? Like where are we at, bro? I hate all this.
It's like a new game show.
Bro, it's mad. Like, big up to Igal, by the way. Turkish and damn people call you negative, but you're proven right again this season. For me, it ain't about being right or wrong. It's about giving your opinion. We all want to win. Have different opinions about how we get there. But big up to Igal, man.
You know what? I hate, but not big up Igal, but we're very different. But you're right. It's not about being right. You know what I hate? Like, let's just say we won the league title this year. Let's say we fought back and Anfield, 3 points. We go ahead of them, 1 point ahead, 2 games left. We see it out. We get 6 out of 6. I would have, and I'm not talking about a gal here. I would have a section of the fan base. You can't celebrate. You didn't think we're gonna do it. Don't celebrate. You're not a real Arsenal fan. Now, can I now say to them, because I'm not talking about a gal here, because he's
a gal's not one of those.
Can I say to them, oh, we haven't won the league, so shut the fuck up. Don't talk to me again. Next season, I don't want to hear a word from. I can't say that. It's part of being a fan. Whether you're negative, positive, pessimistic, optimistic, no one should turn around and say, "Oh, don't support this team no more." Do you know how that thing to me is very annoying, because it's like, bro, I get the positivity side and I get that's needed, especially when things are going well and the players are out there on the pitch. 100% that's needed, but accountability and this side of things is also needed. It's about working in some form of unison when they need people to sing and when they need people to dance and support, and I'll watch you lot do that. But when we need people to hold the club accountable, put pressure on, ask the questions and wonder why, let us do that. It's not about saying you lot are negative, but you lot are done. And that's what it is every season. And that's why they got the best business in the world. We argue amongst ourselves. The customers argue. The customers are arguing, bro.
Yeah,
imagine we all own iPhones, and we're all arguing about iPhone. Like, just, bruv, like, Apple will be smiling. They smile anyway, but bro, Cronkies they've cashed in, man. They're up.
They have, bro. Of course they have, bro. Like, look, I want to get on to ownership next. I want to quickly ask you a question about this Champions League. You and I are on the same page with this. I think we both know. I said to Laurie the weekend that our season's over and we'll get excited for the Real Madrid game or the Atletico Madrid game, and we'll end up going out. We don't have the mentality. We don't have the quality. We don't have the know-how manager, in my opinion. We're coming up against 2 of the best teams, but 2 of the best managers in Simeone and Ancelotti. that know how to do their business. If we can't get or break down a Ruben Amorim or a Graham Potter side, we ain't got no chance, in my opinion. If you had to pick one of the two, who would you like to come up against? And I mean that in terms of what would be best for us to move forward, but also what would you like to see as a kind of game? And the other thing I've got is if we are out of that and we can manage to somehow pull off some miracle, surely we look at our Liverpool and Villa situation and potentially Barca or Inter or Bayern and think that we've just got to try and stink our way through it. What's your thoughts in this competition, bro?
Before thinking too far ahead, who do I want at Real Atletico? Is pick your poison, isn't it? Really, what do you want the poison to taste like before you die? Is it impossible? It's not impossible. I want Real, but I don't want. I'm not one of these people saying I want Real because we've got more chance against them. I want Real because it's going to be a better game. I'm not too sure who we have more chance against because I think Atletico are a very difficult side. Real Madrid are an even better side. You know, we can look at Atletico and say and I've said this, they play the exact way that teams that have found us out this season play, and they're the generals at it, and Simeone is the master at it. So do we want to play that chess type of game? Does a chess type of game keep it tight? Does a chess type of game maybe give you a chance to go through with 10 minutes to go the second leg? Potentially. But this is the Champions League. And this season, I think a lot's been exposed in terms of the lack of squad building. So let's go and see. Let's go put us against Real Madrid and let's just see where we're at. Let's go toe to toe, see where we're at, and come out of it expecting that we go out over two legs. But we also know for a fact that these players ain't it, that system ain't it, or this needs to happen with this player, or we need that player to come in. Test yourselves against the best side in Europe and let's see where we're at. Because, like I said, it's pick your poison, and Atletico will... I love Simeone, by the way. Atletico over the years, I think they've not been underrated because they've got hella praise, but to pull out 2 league titles, especially one of them being in the Messi and Ronaldo era, it's crazy. 2 Champions League finals. Yeah. I don't know. I lean to Real, Dan. I lean to Real because it'll be a better game. It's Champions League, the stars, lights, all of this stuff. I lean to that. But the reality is, I mean, if you ask me a percentage of chance we go through, it's probably the same percent for both.
Yeah. See, I'm with you. I think we lose both games.
Yeah.
But the reason I'll go Atletico, I think with Atleti, it's going to be like, let's just see what Gabriel Saliba, Rice and Partey can do against the monsters of Atleti. With Real Madrid, I feel like it's going to be a bit of a tanking potentially because they've just got better quality up top. And I do think they'll get through Saliba and Gabriel if Man United and West Ham can, right? So coming up against Vinny and Mbappe and Rodrigo is not going to be fun for our defence. And that's a strong defence at the moment, which has probably had enough respect, to be fair, and well-deservedly so. I think with Atleti, it's like, not that I don't think they will bop us because they've got potential to hurt us as well. I just feel like the way that Arteta will set up might stink more of an opportunity for us to take them all the way to the second leg. I'm really worried that the first leg could be like game over if we get Real Madrid, and then we'll go into that second leg like, rah, what's the point of this? Like, it's just playing for some form of pride.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. I might be completely wrong, and I could be the other way around. Wow, we actually are suited to a Real Madrid side, and we've managed to pull off a miracle. In terms of us going all the way, I think we've got little to no chance, and it isn't because of the lack of quality. It's because up here, there's something wrong with this manager and team still. And I knew that, and I saw that when we played Manchester United in the FA Cup and Newcastle in the League Cup. And that's nowhere near the level, an elite level of the team or the competition of the Champions League that we're going to be coming up against. So I said before a ball was kind of kicked in this next round of the Champions League that it will be an El Clasico final. And I'm going to stand by that. I think Real Madrid-Barca will be the final of the Champions League. I could be wrong. I don't usually get it right. But I can't write off Real Madrid ever. That's why they've got 15 of these damn trophies. I just want one. Like, they are the kings of it, right? So there's no shame as well. Like, if we do get Real Madrid, there's actually no shame of going out to them, like, ever, no matter what Real Madrid team they put out. Last season, I was disappointed going out to Bayern because Tuchel was there. We knew he was leaving. They weren't at the best. They lost the league to Bayer Leverkusen. And I thought there was an opportunity for us to really go and get past them. And we didn't really show up and crumbled again, in my opinion, not just at the Emirates, but out there as well. The Allianz was too much for us. So, yeah, I'm not feeling positive about that. But I think it's a nice segue into the future, because this season a lot of people say is over and that's all we've got to cling on to. Let's talk about Andrea Berta, because I think this is the most positive news I've heard in a long time, not just this season. People have said to me, "Oh, at least that's a bit of positive for this season." I'm like, "Right, that's the biggest positive I've heard in a decade." This is the sort of footballing man that I've been crying out for, that we should have been getting in phase 1, not phase 5. So when I look right now, he now needs to be employed as the most important person at this football club. There is no more Arteta has a powerful voice. There's no more we're all in this together. It's like a big family, all this crap. It's like this guy's coming in because he's the one that can get us across the line. Because look at his track record, look at his CV, and look at the players he's brought in. Doesn't matter if it's David Villa or Fernando Torres or Morata coming back, Griezmann coming back. This guy was there when Mateus Cunha and Diogo Jota weren't nowhere near the Premier League. Yeah, he spotted them too. He got the likes of Rodri. Julian Alvarez, to be fair to him, has been brought in under that like guy. So I look at the list of players and I think, yeah, this guy picked up Rodri and plucked him at 20 million from Villarreal and has turned him into a Ballon d'Or winner. Okay, he hasn't turned him into one, but you get what I'm saying. So for me, he can obviously eye some talent. I look at the situation alongside Mikel, and I'm not going to say it doesn't worry me, bro, because I don't have the faith that either Mikel Arteta or Josh Kroenke will go, hang on a minute, Mikel, no. You listen to this guy. He knows what he's doing. I think they could clash and I think they could fall out. And I've already seen people leave at that level in Edu and Vinay. And the last thing I need is for Berta to be leaving and going, hang on a minute, this sounded like a dream, but you guys are a mess. Like, you're jokes. I'm off. See you later. We win stuff where I go to. You ain't winning nothing. So it's going to go one way or the other, Turkish, but I want to get your thoughts on it, bro.
I'm very happy. I mean, that's the best candidate we could have got. I'm not the most knowledgeable of sporting directors, but when I look at the names available, and even if you look at names not available and you're trying to take one or two, there's not many that have a resume as good and as long as Berta. So I'm very impressed by it. I'm also equally impressed that it seems like Arteta hasn't been part of the process for it, because, you know, if that is to be the case, then Berta comes in as the needle mover, someone to challenge Arteta, someone to challenge above, because Arteta mentioned a few weeks ago, the question is for a board about the sporting director. I thought at the time, what, you're not involved? Okay, let's see. Now it's announced from Ornstein, essentially Ornstein saying Garlic and Tim Lewis with the assistance of Kroenke and some input from Mikel. I like that, because I don't like the get along gang thing. You need to disagree. Simeone, even in his exit comment to Berta, spoke of disagreements, but spoke that they both aligned on Atletico and the love for the club. So regardless of disagreements, they always came out of it aligned, because you can align even amongst disagreement. 100%. It's probably best to get disagreements out of the way to make sure you're aligned properly. So I like that Berta's come in, man. I like his resume. I like the quality of player. I mean, if I look at his last 10 years at the club, or 12 years he was there altogether, some of the names very shrewd. Rodri, 20 mil Villarreal, 50 M profit the year after. Jan Oblak, about 15 mil from Benfica. They've got over a decade of top service from him. David Villa and Luis Suarez both surplus the requirements at Barcelona. It seems like their career trajectory is on the way down. Villa signs La Liga. Suarez signs La Liga. Literally like for like those two scenarios. They took a legendary striker from Barca and won the league. Shrewd business. And then you look at the Griezmann one, they spend 30. He spends 30 on Griezmann. They shot him for 120. They get him back for 30. So essentially they spend 60 on him. They've got 120 from him, and they got the best part of 9 years out of him, 2 on top of that. So again, that worked out to be good business, even though Felix didn't. But what I liked about Felix is he was proactive. We've just lost a key player, 100 mil. Fuck's sake. We can relate to that. We've lost key players hella times over the Emirates era. But what we can't relate to is our club trying to buy the next best thing to replace. And Felix at the time, behind Mbappe and Haaland, was one of the best youngsters in the world. So they lost Griezmann and they went for Felix. We lost Fabregas. We went for Mikel Arteta. Very different. Yeah. Very different scenarios. Yeah. That means, and that shows that they want to remain where they are, but they also know that Griezmann's going Barca, dream, all of that. Cool. But they don't dwell on it. Here you go. There you go. Out. No hanging on to him, no letting him play through maybe emotions of wanting to leave. Cool, you want to go? No worries, brother. Go. If you want to come back, cool. Carrasco even came back after a year one time, and he done all right. Marcus Llorente, he goes under the radar. They signed him after Greek. He's been a quality midfielder for them. Quality midfielder for the last 5-6 years. Grown into it. I mean, Kieran Trippier. That's a market opportunity. Right back England. Oh, comes in, one of our biggest leaders, helps us win the league. I'm sorry, his resume and the players that I've got off, because I've got a video ready to launch on my channel, Andrea Berta. I'm just waiting for the news to be announced, and I'm gonna click public, and then I just know all these players. I know like how he's been shrewd with the money. Because even with João Felix, 120 mil they spend, complete and utter flop. Yeah, complete and utter flop. They managed to get 60 M's back for him because Chelsea paid the 11 loan fee and then 50 a couple of years later.
Yeah.
They got half his. We lost 70 M's on Pepe. So we lost more on Pepe than they did on Felix, for example. Do you get what I'm saying? So Berta's business side of things, market opportunity side of things, and being able to go for top players like a Griezmann, like a Suarez, like a Villa, even an Alvarez did this summer. I don't think Alvarez was openly trying to leave City, but Berta must have made the call. You interested? First choice striker. Lo and behold, Alvarez starts, wiggling his hips, moving his elbows. I want to leave. Atletico come in and take one of Man City's young strikers. I like that. I like everything about Berta, whether it's his market opportunities in Suarez and Villa, whether it's his shrewd business in maybe a Marcus Llorente or a Kieran Trippier, or whether it's, looking at the next star like a Felix or like an Alvarez. Proactive. If it doesn't work, in, out, shake it all about, don't dwell on it. You get it? We don't do in, out, shake it all about. We do in, and that's it. We even if they're shit, year after year after year. Remember Xhaka? For 5 years, Xhaka was shit. 6th, 7th year, he does better. Oh my God. Same with Havertz now. 2 years shit. 6 months good. Let's remember the good. Waka waka. Like, we've got to look at what our competitors are doing, or competitors now at the highest end of Europe. They don't dwell on players that don't work. Players cannot work, Like, one thing that annoys me about our fans is some fans, how much they mention Pepe and say, when I mention we need to sign big players, stars, the next star, whatever. But look what happened with Pepe. I've never seen a club do this. We signed one Nicolas Pepe 2019, 70 M's. It flops, and now I've got fellow fans.
They never want to see it again.
We shouldn't do that. What do you mean we shouldn't do that? Like, what kind of nonsense is that? But
and what's mad is Havertz, by the way, was a similar scenario to Nico Pepe. It's just that he's our most highest paid player at the club. If you look at the stats, Pepe was our top scorer one season. Pepe was creative. Pepe used to actually come on and actually do something. I was never a hater or a lover, really. I used to think he got unfair criticism in comparison to other players.
100%.
But I never loved the signing. But then you look at what Havertz has done, and we're singing Waka Waka. So come on, man, like, keep it consistent. And remember that was a signing that Raul Sanllehi made that was never, ever a £72 million player. But just because we bought one bad £72 million player doesn't mean you have to now go and pay 20 million and 30 million for players. Like, those days are done, unless you're a Brighton. Those days are done. Arsene Wenger days are done. You don't go and bring that. So
and sorry, you mentioned Raul. I ain't got no qualms with Raul. When Raul first came in, I was like, I'm quite impressed. He's got a good resume. But the way he ended, now everyone looks back and says, look, he done some dodgy shit. He might have done dodgy shit, but bro, there's so many examples of teams spending 60, 70, 80 M's and the player flopping. It's not like we spent 170 M on Pepe and then we look back at it and say, yo, what dodgy business? It was 70 million. Grealish went for 100 million. That's a flop. Does that mean their sporting director's dodgy? Something happened under the table? Or Anthony, Man United are dodgy in general, but we fucked up. Raul, whatever, 70 M's, he wasn't worth that. But what's this whole, he had his fingers in the pie and where did that all come from? That was all noise, I think, from the club, that really there's no foundation to it, because we've seen many flops for 60, 70, 80 M's. Yeah. We've got one now. Yeah. So I don't know why that one was linked to, Raul, he was a dodgy guy, mafia. Why?
Man,
I didn't
listen,
get that whole
he
shit.
was clearly like in bed with Kia Jarabskan, but how many other people were? Like, let's just be real.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the reason that Arsenal would like. I wasn't a massive fan of Raul how it ended, of course, but I look at it now and think this is what's needed. I'll read out some of these names as well. You've mentioned a lot of them, but there's some that people would forget about, and I wrote it down the other day. Vasalco, who actually got sent off against Arsenal when he last played, but was a very good fullback. Torres, Nico Gatan from Benfica, Diogo Jota before he was in anywhere near Liverpool or Wolves, Theo Hernandez, Diego Costa, Rodri, Trippier, Hermoso, Marcus Llorente, as you mentioned, João Felix, Kondogbia, who, to be fair, was probably like rated very, very highly at the time, Monaco, if you remember. Luis Suarez, you mentioned, Carrasco, Morata, Cunha before Wolves, and Rodrigo De Paul, Molina, Griezmann, and Julian Alvarez. I wrote them down because they were the ones that really stood out. There's been others as well, and I will say there has been some that have, of course, been misses because that's what happens in this job, right? But when you look at how many hits are there, you think, rah, that's just scary to me. Absolutely scary. Do a couple of these super chats, and I want to move to the next question. Antoine says, Dan, Robin or Neymar? Robin or Neymar? Who's better? I know Turkish is answer.
You don't know my answer. You're assuming my answer. Neymar is more beautiful to watch, right? All I said was because they were saying Neymar's up there with like not Ronaldo, Messi, but the next tier. I was saying he's more on the Robben tier, and all of a sudden it's I can't really pick between them unless it's aesthetically, and I'll go for Neymar, and that's even kind of disrespectful to Robben because Robben aesthetically was class. That left foot, the jinking in and out, he was class as well. But yeah, sorry, Dan, go on.
Let me give you mine, and I'll have my say on this because obviously I watched Big Six and I knew I knew all about it. I see the highlights. Tobes is just being Tobes basically and just going in. So that's my opinion on it. He loves Neymar, always has loved Neymar. Neymar, Messi, and Neymar and Messi with Tobes. There's no one ever better, I don't think. So that's where it is with him. But you know the term up there for thinking, down there for dancing. Down there for dancing, Neymar. Up there for thinking is Robin all day. Like for me. Like when you look at the quality of both of them, I think Robin has got to be one of the most underrated. Whenever he cut inside, it was so predictable, but you just knew he was going to do it, and he just kept doing it. You know, there's been other players, of course, Messi level, and I think Mahrez was another one. Salah, you could say, is another one. I hope Saka can be put in that mode one day where he's so predictable where he's going, but you just can't get the ball off of him. Robin was like that, and Robin, I think I wanted to have Robin as a kind of role model to the future kind of wingers of football because I thought he was perfect. For me, he was one of the most perfect I've seen at PSV and at Chelsea and now at Bayern Munich. So I don't think that you're far wrong when you try and put Neymar in that bracket because for me, I don't think there is the bracket that Neymar deserves to be in a Messi or Ronaldo bracket. Personally, I don't. I do think he was outstanding. We're talking about two unbelievably good players here, by the way. We're not talking about one that stinks and one that's a scrub. We're talking about two that are absolutely elite level. So that's how I'd probably answer that. Similarly to you, I probably preferred watching Robin, if I'm honest. However, and that's probably like an old school thing. I'm not really a fan of people who dive around on the floor and start doing roly-polies 4 times. And that's what Neymar reminds me of when I think of him. As much as I shouldn't let that affect me, it does. I can't help that. You know, if you look at the mentality of some of the players, I look at Mesut Ozil. That's why I was never a fan of his mentality, because if he had the mentality of Jordan Henderson or James Milner, he probably would have been one of the most elite footballers we've seen because he had everything technically. But up there was issues with him still, in my opinion, right? So that's why I've got issues with that. But yeah, look, both of those players were unbelievable. Ricky, big up Dan and Turkish. Kudos for keeping it real. Big up to Face 4.5 plus. Only Arsenal and our stupid fan base will speak and lap up such trash phase BS. You know this phase thing? I actually heard it from Charles Watts about 3 years ago. I think it was a couple of seasons ago. Charles wrote that book about Arteta's kind of start Arsenal. That was when I saw it saying that, you know, we're already in phase 3 at the time or whatever it was. And I remember thinking then going, what does that mean? Like, I've never heard phases or processes or projects until it come to Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? It's all very, very PR stuff. And I like Charles, but I never really understood what it meant. And now Mikel Arteta is bringing it up in interviews and press conferences. It's like, right, this actually is a thing then. Like, I never heard of it.
I do. I mean, Charles Watts he's definitely an Arsenal fan. I'll give him that. And he's spoken, especially in January. I like the way he spoke and and the question he gave to Mikel.
No, I like Charles, yeah.
The striker. But what he wrote that book about Mikel.
Yeah, bizarre.
Charles, if you're watching this, you fucked up. Like, why are you writing a book 2 years in to this is Arsenal. This ain't Wrexham or fucking Morecambe. Why are you writing a book about a manager that hasn't done anything yet, 2 years in? And then you'll have, fans lapping it up and you don't do that. Why? Like,
it's like when Zinchenko wrote a book at the age of 27. Like, what are you doing, man? You haven't
and
even lived.
And Mikel's even promoting his wife's book. Brother, you're on 15 M's a year, brother. Bruv, what the hell?
I see that on Twitter. He's like, I'm so proud of my wife.
Get the books out and sign, bro. This guy came back on Twitter after 3 years to promote his wife's book. Bruv, come on.
I see it on Twitter. I'm proud of my wife, and I'm like, what is happening here, man? Like, honestly, it's crazy. Let's try and get an understanding, because I like to bring up Igal's comments. He's coming on tonight, by the way. We're going to talk about this because he sees this differently to you and I. He believes he says Dan, phases are just building blocks to success. It suggests that each stage or step in the process, journey, or project contributes to the overall achievement of a goal. Look, I know what it is supposed to be. Again, I'm not confused about what the word means. I just don't think that there's any other club that I can look at that PR'd their way to say that we're in different phases and sections of it. They just win. Liverpool were in a process or phase, but they were competing with trophies right to the top, to the Champions League that they won, and then the league that they won. We can't even get a League Cup over the line in 5 years. So as much as I love what Igal's about and what he's saying here, I can't agree with it or get on board with this phases and stuff, man. Because you will then say what phase is Slot in? What phase is Nuno in? What phase was Conte in at Chelsea? They weren't left Premier League winning teams because Klopp won 1 in 9. Yeah, with that winning side. So he's walked into a very good side, by the way, but one that everybody laughed at and said, crikey, they'll be struggling to get Champions League. They bought Chiesa and no one else. They ain't getting in the title, and they've got across the line. So this is why I think Arne Slot has actually this season proven a lot, and it don't look good for Arsenal, because what it does is it says, well, who are we going to go and get if Arteta goes? Well, nobody was saying Slot when Klopp was leaving. He's walked in and won the league. Yeah, there's managers out there. And when people say that, there's time that's needed and money that's needed, I don't know a youth project that's worked. Because people will say class of 92. What, you think the class of 92 didn't have people around them like Eric Cantona and Steve Bruce and Brian McClare and Roy Keane and people like that? Like, they weren't kids. They were the ones that led them. When we had a youth project right at the start, I said it wasn't going to work. Van Persie and Fabregas agreed and said, see you later. Then we went for another youth project under Arsene Wenger. And I remember the 5 or 6 of them Turkish. There was a Kieran Gibbs, Oxlade Chamberlain, Theo, Ramsey, Wilshere, all signing contracts. Youth Project 2.0. They all left because we didn't win anything other than a handful of FA Cups. And now we're in Youth Project 3, and we're worried that we're going to lose Saliba to Real Madrid and that Saka's going to get pissed off one day. So come on, man. Like, just see this movie before. I don't know why we can't wake up as a fan base and see that this hasn't worked now for 3 times. And we're 5 years into this youth project. All these players are no longer kids. Saka's not a kid anymore, man. He's 23 years old. Saliba's 23. Erdegaard's nearly 26. You've got Declan Rice nearly 26. That should be like winning stuff now. It's not about give it 5 years, give it more time. Like, no, it's time to deliver, man. That's where I'm at with it, bro. It's a madness to me. I can't believe that.
You can't. No one can define a phase, so there's no point in backing it. That's my thing with what Igal said, because surely the whole phase thing was 2021 phase 1, 21-22 phase 2, 22-23 phase 3, 23-24 phase 4, 24-25 phase 5. That must have been the understanding, right? But then Mikel comes out and says, oh, we're between 4 and 5 this year. So does that, so how, like, what's a phase? 6 months? And guess what? None of the players give a flying fuck about phases. None of them. Trust me. That's probably what he did to Van Persie when he came. New contract. We're on phase 3.6 of this process. Yeah. And Van Persie's probably like, what the fuck are you talking about phases, bro? And show me money. I want to win shit. Where's that phase? Phase win. Not dog win. Phase win. That dog's been abandoned as well. That PR thing went straight. Bruv, this club, oh my, where's win? Probably RSPCA. We don't see that dog no more. What happened to that? Oh, fluffy dog around. He's called Win. He ain't fucking won since he's come in 2 years, bro. Get rid of that dog.
Bruv, the dog will be put down by the time we win a fucking trophy, man. Like, I'm not for like animal cruelty, but that's how old it's gonna be. Like, real talk, the way it's going is crazy at the moment. So, yeah, I'm not about that, if I'm honest. And I just find it pathetic that we even bought a dog in their first place, if I'm honest with you. And I kept joking that we're probably going to buy a gerbil next and call it Trophy. It's ridiculous. Look, Suj says if Berta comes in, he sells Kai for 50, buys Isak for 120. That deserves a mural. Had to bring up the mural with Turkish on. Love for the love. Big up to you, bro. Look, let me look forward to the last question. Looking forward. He's staying, Turkish. He's staying, right? The Cronkies are staying. Arteta's staying. There's no point me asking who you want and what if he goes, what if he walks, what are the owners going to be like, what's the new manager you want. I ain't going to ask those questions because I get asked them and I ask the same question, which is there's no point me telling you. 2 reasons. He's staying. Second reason, any manager that I give any of these fans that ask me that question, just shout back at me they don't want them because they're rubbish, right? If I say I want Carlo Ancelotti, what did he do at Everton? Little do they know he finished 2 points behind Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. And since he's left, Everton have been in a relegation battle every season, right? If I said like Antonio Conte or Jose, which I don't want because they've got the Spurs lurgy now, but if I did have said them before, they're boring football. Diego Simeone, what's he won in 3 years? He's boring football to watch. Simone Inzaghi, why would he leave Inter Milan? He's winning everything over there. Xabi Alonso, might as well keep Mikel. He's similar age and he's done similar in football. Everything that I give you, you throw that back at me. So I'm not going to say anymore. There's nobody better. And Lee says it right. When people ask that question, we should ask them back. Mikel Arteta's just announced he's leaving. Who do you want? Do you know what they say? These people. Carlo Ancelotti or Simone Inzaghi. What? So why are you giving it when I say those names in? It's crazy. Yeah. It's absolutely crazy to me. So without going into that, what are we looking for this coming summer? Because if Berta's coming in and he's working alongside Mikel Arteta and Garlic and all these guys, if we're saying that this is how it works now, I don't like to talk about transfer windows, but I kind of feel like we need to now because I've already written this season off. I'm looking to the next one. I do not want to be seeing anybody coming into this club that's 20 years old that give it a few years will be good. I don't want to see any more of this. Oh my God, this guy's a great opportunity to buy because Everton don't want him anymore. No more Rashfords, please. No more Jesus or Zinchenko signings. I need this summer to come to the close and me and you to go on the show and go, thank God we've woken up. What a summer. Now, I don't know what that looks like to you, and I don't know if you have confidence that that'll be the case. But what are your thoughts going into it now that we've obviously got Berta in? Do you think now that give you more confidence going into that kind of summer? And the second part of the question is, do you actually see that the Cronkies believe he is the most important man at the club now, or do they still believe it's Mikel?
We'll find out. I can't really tell until we see some evidence on that one. But our transfer window, striker, left winger, number 10, CM, left back, that's 5 already. I probably add another striker or left winger in there. That's 6, and we need a backup goalkeeper. That's looking like 7. 7 to be complete, and it's unlikely, even with Berta. 7 players coming in. On number 1, it's evidence that how the hell are we in phase 4.78 and we need 7 players? But that's another topic completely. We can make do with 5, but they need to be the 5. Like the 5 positions I said, don't go and buy a goalkeeper that can play right wing. Like, don't do that. Fucking buy the players that are built for the positions that we need. Striker, left winger, number 10, CM, left back. And even the left back, when I'm saying it, I don't want to say it. But we, after Tierney goes, we ain't got an out and out left back that can bomb it up and down the line and put crosses in. We're left with Lewis-Skelly and Calafiori who invert. So it'd be nice to have that, but at the same time, do we need that? Mikel's never really relied on an out and out left back, so maybe not. So if it's a case of, you know, where do we take the risk? Take the risk on no left back. I'll be more than happy with that. Don't take the risk on no attackers anymore. Ornstein came out yesterday. I don't know where. Well, I don't know. It was on Twitter. He had a list of positions that we're interested in. I can't believe that list because as soon as he said striker, he moved straight onto CM and then left back and then maybe a centre back and a backup goalkeeper. How did you move from one fucking attacker to everywhere else but attack? I need that attack. 3 players. 3 players need to join that front 4. 3 players. One of them out, I'd say Martinelli, sell him and bring 3 players in. A starting left winger, a starting striker and someone else, or Cunha, who can start across the three, and you can pick and choose where. Two starters and a Cunha. That's how I see it for the attack only. 3 players. And then you move on and do what else you need to do. I think Rice is a 6, so I'd have Zubimendi and Rice as our 6s. Odegaard's an 8, so you could have Odegaard and Marino as your 8s. Very different types of players. And then you bring in a new 10. I don't think Cunha is the best 10 in the world. I think he's a different 10 for sure. I'd be looking at Wirtz if he's available, but I'm dreaming, bro. I'm dreaming. So, but now we got Berta in. Maybe we can dream. Maybe he has got a bit, but he's definitely got more clout than we're used to. So, I don't know. I want to see. Obviously, since he's come in or coming in, Lautaro Martinez has been linked. And again, take these all with a pinch of salt. But who knows? Berta might come in to raise the level. And the players that we once laughed at for connecting to Arsenal might be attainable now. We'll see, because that needs to happen.
Facts, it does. Look, man, I'm with you in terms of the positions. I look at the positions we clearly need, and I want the striker to be Isak or Gyökeres. I'm not particularly keen on it being a Sesko. I don't want it to be a Jonathan David. It's not going to excite me. The left wing, I can't believe we allowed Kvaratskhelia to just walks into PSG for 63 million when we spent 65 on Havertz. What are we doing here? Left winger for me, or attacking mid, I'll be happy with Alex Baena from Valencia. I think he's been brilliant for La Liga. Obviously, Florian Wirtz would be the dream, but I can kind of see him going to City unless he goes and stays in Germany. Nico Williams, I'm not keen on it, if I'm honest. Lookman would probably be more exciting to me than Williams, because I actually feel like he's doing it. Nico Williams is still hit and miss and young and unproven, if I'm honest with you. I know a lot of people will say he won the Euros with Spain, but to be fair, he wasn't the reason. Like, he was one of the reasons, and did play well. Cunha, like you, I think would be a very good player, but I don't think it's one that absolutely takes us to the next level. But I think he'd be a brilliant squad player. In midfield, Zubimendi, I'm happy with that one. I want somebody in the 8 though. I want like a Morgan Rogers or Reinders or somebody like that who's going to come in and actually be that box-to-box athleticism. That's what I want to be seeing. And then at the back, we're probably going to need to sort it out. But I don't even want to talk about defenders at this club anymore, bruv. I just don't. I've seen way too many come in. I don't care for it anymore. I'm tired of it, bruv. The goalkeeper's probably going to be that Joan Garcia guy from Espanyol, if I'm honest. We've been linked with him for about 2 seasons now, and I'm cool with that, whatever. Apparently, Guns reckons he's pretty good anyway, so hopefully he'll be back up to Real. That's the sort of window I want to see, but I kind of can't sit there and be honest with you. If I had to say to you now, what do I think Arsenal will do? I think they'll bring in Garcia. I think they'll bring in Zubimendi, and I think they'll bring in either one of Cunha or Williams, and then Sesko. That would be the summer. I don't think we're getting anybody other than that.
No. I mean, you're right to feel like it's going to be underwhelming, because 19 of 20 has transfer windows have been underwhelming in the Emirates era. And even the one that wasn't underwhelming wasn't because of Declan Rice. I mean, Arteta sure done his best to make it underwhelming by buying Havertz next to Rice, but yeah.
Mate, I said as well to can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Judges. I wouldn't rule out if we get Sesko. You know what he'll do with Havertz, right? He'll stick him in that attacking 8. Any money he does that. Any money he does that again. He is obsessed with this. Because I don't think he's going to drop Havertz when he comes back. I don't think Havertz will be a squad player like I want him to be. And I've got nothing wrong with him being that Turkish. A lot of people have said to me, what would you do with Havertz? I can't sell him because 1, no one's going to want him. And 2, he's his guy. So he ain't going anywhere. Yeah. So I'm more than happy to get to 25 minutes with a game. And I'm thinking on Havertz up top to give us a different dimension. Calm. No problem with that. I never have had a problem with that. What I don't want is this guy starting as my number 9 for the next 2-3 seasons, because it ain't good enough. So when I look at him scoring 15 goals at the back end of last season, and then people are getting excited, singing his name, saying this is our new Thierry Henry or Bergkamp, I'm thinking to myself, we need to just be more realistic than that and say that we need an upgrade on him. Yeah, Isak's the dream. I don't think Isak will happen. But Gyökeres is right there. £84 million release clause. Done. Go and get him. Simple. Yeah, simple to do. So that's what I'm kind of hoping, man. But look, people, big up to every single one for being here. Let's see if I haven't missed any more super chats.
I wonder if Simeone wants Havertz, man. Well, if he bought Morata for like 40 M's, no? Maybe, man. But Berta needs to shout Simeone, man. Do you need someone a wrecker off the bench or whatever you call him, space invader, space wrecker, whatever. Simeone might take that, man. I love him.
You reckon one day he could come Arsenal?
Who, Simeone?
Yeah. Or do you think he's just going to stay there?
With Berta in, obviously, it becomes more of a reality. Before Berta, I'd say, but Simeone will come and stone cold stun a Josh, and like, I don't think they'd get along. But now Berta's in it. Let's see how the club's moving.
Yeah, because I truly believe what they should do, the Cronkies, and I hope they do this, is that they look at him as the most important guy. And if Arteta doesn't win something next season, he goes and we bring in somebody at the level of that. I would take Simone Inzaghi as well, by the way. Don Carlo is like legendary. Of course, he'd be one I'd look at. But I think Simone and Simone Inzaghi right now are the two that I'd probably even pick ahead of Carlo. So, yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard. I love Ancelotti. What he's done in football is just ridiculous, man. Like most successful manager here, there, and everywhere. Anurag says, I'm not a big fan of Nico. He has games where he can single-handedly win you games, but he also goes missing way too much on a weekly basis. I like Lookman also, and I like Semenyo as he can cover both wings. Yeah, I saw a Semenyo video that dropped yesterday. I think it might have been on Rory's TikTok, and he was sort of saying that, where's your favorite ground to play? And he said the Emirates. And then they said, oh, why is that? Is it deeper than just a nice ground? And he said, oh, I can't go there. I can't go there, and started laughing. So there's a lot of rumours suggesting that he's a big Arsenal fan and he loves Arsenal and he wants to play for us one day. And I've been impressed with him Turkish this season. I think he's been a good player. Not that I believe he could start, but I do believe that he is a baller. I think like him, Brian Mbeumo, Kudus, somebody like that should be what we should be trying to attract to the club. Now, will they want to come and sit in the background of Bukayo Saka when he's fit? We don't know what Saka's going to be like. So it would be a good signing, I think. John and Go says, big up Dan and my Keanu with a Turkish background. love, man. Appreciate it. And thank you all so much for your super chats, man. Make sure you hit the like button. Though. We ain't got anywhere near enough for likes. We've got 1.4K in the building. And we haven't got anywhere near as many likes, people. So come on, let's make sure we hit the like button. Let's get that up to 1,000 likes on this. I'm sure we can do that on today's stream. Turkish, thank you so much, man, for coming on. It's always a pleasure speaking to you, my G. What have you got coming up, my bro?
I've got a Berta video in the back pocket. My hair transplant videos in the back pocket. So, listen, international breaks coming up soon. I think Berta I'll drop as soon as the news lands. Hair transplant comes out. I'll do international break. And I'm going to do a couple. Listen, I'm just all over the place. I'm going to do a couple videos about what we need and positions and players available, because I don't want to hear game week 38, who do you want? I just want to say, here's my videos. That's who I want. Like, don't keep on asking me who do I want. There you go. There's a list of 5 strikers. There's a list of 5 wingers. There's a list of 5 midfielders. Don't ask me who I want. There you go.
There they are. Yeah, there you go, man. No, I love that. Love that. Listen, we're going to redirect to Igal. Igal's going to be going live soon, so make sure you go show him some love and go check out what he's saying. And make sure you're good with Turkish as well. Mate, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do it.
Dan, just to confirm, whilst we're live, I see Deluded in the chat. Let Deluded know how difficult it's been to pin me down for this live, Dan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I need to message Deluded back, yeah. But obviously, I need to do a piece of content with him or Saturn. It's been a long time, yeah. But bro, this one was meant to be 2 weeks ago, Deluded. I cancelled it last week. I nearly cancelled it today, but
I see what you mean. Sorry, yeah. No,
so Deluded's up next. Deluded's up next. Trust me. So yeah,
we've been trying to do this for ages, man. It's just it's been me as well, though. It's not just been Turkish. I've been mad busy as well, so it's just hard to get both us pinned down. It's crazy, but yeah, man.
Hollywood. I'm not Hollywood. I'm Istanbul, brother.
Big up to Deluded, man. Make sure you go follow him, Deluded, man. But listen, bro, always a pleasure, man. Love. We'll catch up really soon, man. And big up to everyone. Smash the likes on the way out. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Take care, people.
Love.